Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Action Comics 1061, the beginning of a whole new era in Action Comics. Superman, superstars begin here, top creators, top characters, and all the action that you expect. So let's take a look at the creative team in this issue, this first arc. We have Jason Aaron on writing duties. We have art by John Timms, Rick Locus on colors, and letters by Dave Sharp. Uh, I've been very excited about this issue. As much as I love Philip Kennedy Johnson's current run, it's really fun to have people like John and Jason Aaron just join the team to give us these fantastic stories. So let's talk about this specific issue. Superman Superstars begins with Jason Aaron writing Superman for the first time, joined by fan favorite artist John Timms. The Wizard Bizarro. Jason Aaron writes Superman for the very first time here, presenting a new startling vision of the Man of Steel's strangest foe. When Superman's doppelganger discovers a dark secret about himself, it unleashes the most dangerous version of Bizarro the world has ever seen. I don't think I've read a lot of Bizarro stories, at least not within the Superman books. I was actually pretty big fan of the Red Hood Outlaws and the Red Hood and the Outlaws trio, like the Dark Trinity that we had there for a minute, were included a very sweet version of Bizarro, I feel. So that was very interesting to follow along. But man, Jason Aaron has gone all out and just really brought us something very interesting, right? Because Bizarro is supposed to be the antithesis of Superman, what we have here really makes for a really fun um, a really fun way to present this story and a new challenge for Superman. So let's bring some of the preview art by John Timms and Rex Locus. As you can see here, these preview pages just show the big conflict. So they specifically are skipping a little bit of some of the pages prior to this that explain what's going on with Bizarro a little bit more. But yeah, you see him. I love the confrontation. I love one of the things that sometimes I struggle with when reading a Bizarro comic book is his speech pattern. I feel like different writers do different things with it. And although in my head I'm just thinking like think of whatever the opposite is that you're reading, like it still makes it a little bit difficult to kind of really follow along. But I think Jason Aaron did a really good job, along with John Timms showing us instead of just kind of telling us through the dialogue. So once again, I love here just highlighting these things. Superman gets slapped all the way to Venus and then dragged around by Bizarro all throughout the solar system, all the way to Pluto, just 3 billion miles from Earth, in such a great speed. So there's something that has augmented Bizarro's powers, and that's kind of the crux of this issue. And you can see here Bizarro more menacing and looking to really destroy things. So I really enjoyed the reasoning behind all this. I also really like the way that the book kind of ended. I don't know. I think it's really, really fun. Superman has never faced a challenge like this, not that I can think of. So I think if you know Superman and you know Bizarro, you can probably tell a little bit about what's going on in the story. But uh, I quite enjoy this arc. I believe these are going to be 3 issue arcs, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely we'll be talking about this in the few upcoming weeks and months. Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Titans Beast World number 4. This is a new book from DC Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this issue. This is written by Tom Taylor with art by Lucas Mayer, Romulo Fajardo Jr. on colors, Wes Abbott on letters. The event of the winter, I guess, for DC continues. And it just really continues to be a lot of fun. I don't think this book will have many long-term repercussions, but boy, is it fun to read. There's so much nonsense going on that I just really love it. Tom Taylor knows how to tell a fun story, do different things that from what we were expecting, bring in some weird characters, and also like tug at the heartstrings. This issue definitely has a lot of those moments. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Witness the fall of a titan. With the greatest minds and killers of the DCU at her disposal, Amanda Waller unleashes her malevolent master plan to remake the world in her image. When with the Titans off the board, do the Beast stand a chance? The Walls hunt begins here. Yeah, this is the issue where Amanda Waller really steps it up a notch as far as like revealing the plan, trying to figure out everything that she's trying to do. And it's just the way that Tom Taylor's telling this story and has been kind of weaving things in and out is pretty outstanding. All that combined with some beautiful art by Lucas Mayer just really makes this feel like a really fun event. I'm not reading the tie-ins for the Titans ongoing, but I think with this book, it is enough that you get all the context that you need for this story. I also am a little behind on the one shot tie-ins for each of the cities, but those are really more of standalone stories from what I've read. So uh, I don't think they would put anything that is too crucial to the plot in a tie-in like that. But those are still fun to see to give you a little bit more of a. If you want to see some of these heroes that turn into different animals and what they can do, they get their full capabilities. You can definitely see it in those other one shots. Let's take a look at some of the preview art here. We begin with Peacemaker just being the most Peacemaker than he can be. I do like that they're definitely giving they're definitely giving Peacemaker a little John Cena type of look. Obviously, the character already kind of looked like that, very similar, and that's probably why John Cena was cast. But although it's not photorealistic, I can't help but to like see little bits of John Cena, and in some of these panels. So as you can see here, very quick pace. I love that when Peacemaker figures out that he messed up, immediately goes on the defense. And I love how we have these kind of like skew angles on the panels, right? It's not a straight on, it's not horizontal fully. We have these little skew angles. And as we move on, we get to see uh, the powers being unleashed, and also, I think, part of the bigger plan ahead. Also, this issue revolves a lot about Giganta, so that'll be if you've been looking forward to seeing what could happen there. We also have some really sweet moments as well, where we have the Flash offering John a little bit of advice on how to handle some of his powers, and also Swamp Thing just showing up and being an ally, because a lot of this is being done by the Red, right? Gar is an agent of the Red, which is the animal kingdom, and the parliament of these beings really work together. So the Green has stepped up. So it's really cool to see that overall. Like I said, towards the end of the issue, this has some really heartbreaking moments, and I'm very invested in how we're going to follow that up. As always, there's some really cool covers at the end of the video, so stay tuned for those. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Green Lantern number 7. This is a new book from DC Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Jeremy Adams with art by Amanke Nawalpan, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., letters by Dave Sharp. Very excited to figure out where this book is going to go after the end of the last issue. Before that, this book will have the finale of the origin of Sin Sun, the lead-in into the new Sinister Sons series. So we're going to have Zod's child and Sinistro's child team up in their own story in and I believe that comes out in a few weeks. But as far as this issue, the death of a major Green Lantern character revealed. Spoilers for the previous issues. I won't go into details as to what happens there, but if you've been reading issues 1 through 6, you can probably figure out what's going on. After his explosive confrontation with Sinestro, Green Lantern is confronted by the United Planets Lanterns for illegally operating within the quarantine zone, and the mystery of what took place on Korugar is finally revealed. Um, so yeah, this is a flashback episode of a flashback issue. So let's take a look at some of the preview art before we get into more of the story, because I really want to talk about how much fun it is to see all these Green Lanterns together, right? Um, if you have been reading the Green Lantern series and you're not fully caught up on like why the Guardians are gone and all that, you don't really need to go back and read any of that stuff. The book actually very efficiently kind of gets you caught up to speed. It introduces this the United Planets that come in to kind of take the place of the Guardians, and it's really fun to see. You know, we get to see Kyle and John and Guy and just all the Lanterns from Earth, Jessica, Simon, and of course Hal. Um, yeah, so it's really fun to kind of see them interact. Really interesting that they are being told in this issue they're not allowed to go back home. For some reason, Earth sector has been quarantined, it's off limits. We already knew that from reading the previous issues, but we still don't know why, what's going on. We don't know why Earth is now off limits and why these lanterns, like, we don't know what the plan is behind the United Planets. We don't know what is going to happen with Oa. We know that the battery was damaged and the corpse are pretty decimated. um, Also, really fun to see Joe here as well. I hadn't cut her in the first few pages because I don't think she was there, but here when we see a little bit more of all the here, there's so many lanterns on Earth, which is crazy. How they so many individuals can wield that power just from one sector, and they're all just very different, very diverse group. Yeah, I quite enjoyed this issue. I think Jeremy Adams has been doing such a fun job, like just doling out this mystery little by little, page by page, and of course he's been teamed up with some really great artists that just kind of bring these really fun stories to life. This one's a little bit more heartfelt for sure, and if you're a big Green Lantern fan, this one might hurt. So very excited to see where this goes from here. I really enjoyed this one, the beginning of this new arc. So I think if you've been looking to catch up, you should do it now rather than wait, because I think like things are about to really kick off to the next level. So if you have read this episode, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.